This is a video on how to create scarcity from the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. This is part 6 of the $100 Million Offers series, so if you haven't watched any of the others then you should go and watch them now. I'll put the latest ones top right, and then come back here to see the rest of the information. And a quick one before I start, as I've said in all the other videos, a lot of this is raw information, so I'll be looking down and reading it word for word so that I don't miss any of the important information and so that you get it in full really. And if you're a business owner or do anything to do with marketing, sales, Airbnb, then you should probably get a piece of paper and pen so that you can jot down the things you think are important. This whole thing's on scarcity, as I've said, so you'll probably need to jot things down if you're trying to create scarcity, because this is literally the whole chapter. And then if you want to just read the whole entire book, then that will be top of the description. So here we go. Scarcity. Scarcity is one of the most powerful and least understood forces to unlock unlimited pricing power. If you want to learn how to sell air for millions of dollars, then pay attention. The reason an authority like a doctor, a celebrity like Oprah, or a celebrity authority like Dr. Ozzy or Dr. Phil can charge egregious rates is because of implied demand. People assume that there is a lot of demand for their time and therefore not a big supply of it. As a result, it must be expensive. That being said, it's hard for most businesses to understand what it's really like to have an uneven supply-demand curve until you've experienced it. I'm going to try and walk you through what it felt like for me the first time I experienced it in order to give you a taste of the power. When I got into this world of acquisition, I saw mentors of mine selling days of time for $50,000 plus. My mind was blown for two reasons. First, because I didn't understand how they could make so much money for a single day. Second, because I didn't understand who in their right mind was buying it. Over time, I learned. I'll start with the buyer. If I have a rare problem, and I must solve this problem for my own pursuit of happiness, it will consume all of my attention. By the nature of my problem being specialised, there will be very few people who can solve it. This means there is not a large supply of solvers. In many cases, I will perceive only one possible solver. Supply equals 1. Now here's a real life case study. There are many people who can solve the problem, how do I make $10,000 per month? But far few who can solve, how can I add $5 million in profit without adding any extra product lines to my business? This was a real project that took me 60 minutes and resulted in exactly $5 million in bottom line profit by slightly altering the pricing model of the business. You could say the business owner was very happy with the result of the engagement. Beyond that, if solving this problem speeds up my achievement of a goal by a year or two, or immediately results in me making hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, the solution becomes far more valuable, does it not? Of course it does, and so it would follow if I can pay someone $50,000 for a day of their time and see an increase in $15,000 per month in revenue within 3 months because of the insights and strategies revealed, that would be a hell of a return on investment, right? So there are two components to the value. First, how rare the sources are. Second, the actual value being provided. The value and rarity compound to create some truly breathtaking profits. Specialized consultants are paid millions of dollars to solve problems worth tens of millions to clients. The client pays for all the experience and expertise the expert has and avoids the cost of errors, time and money. In short, they skip the bad stuff and go straight to the good stuff more quickly and for less money than it would cost to figure it out on their own. A beautiful economic exchange. I personally experienced this for the first time when I had two different people offer me $50,000 for a day of my time after speaking at an event. They were scaling an education business in a niche not too dissimilar from my own and could not get past the 1 million per month mark. As someone who was doing 1 million per week in the same business type at the time, I was a very specific type of person with the keys to their problem. So what happened, you ask? Drumroll. I didn't accept their offer. Why? Because I was making $50,000 per day in profit from my business and didn't want the distraction. After the event concluded, I was speaking with Layla. I realised how I had somehow become one of those people I had always wondered about. It was a very surreal experience for me. I finally understood how premium prices were truly made. Simple supply and demand. There is little that substitutes for incredible demand. You can try and fake it, but there is a special type of zero F's given vibe that's hard to replicate when you truly do not need a person's money or even want it. That's how these guys can charge so much, because they didn't need it. The person who needs to exchange less always has the upper hand. I always try to remember that. It's one of the negotiating and pricing principles that has best served me in my life. But Alex, how are you going to show me how to use scarcity to increase the amount of people who want my offer when currently no one does? Great question. Let's attack some real world, in the trenches strategies to reliably create scarcity. Creating scarcity. When there's a fixed supply or quantity of products or services that are available for purchase, it creates scarcity, or a fear of missing out. It increases the need to take action and by extension purchase your offer. This is where you publicly share that you are only giving away X amounts of products or can only handle Y new clients. For example, if a musician drops a limited edition hoodie and says he only made 100 and they will never be made again, are you more or less likely to buy it than one that is always available? More likely, naturally. The idea that you can never get it again makes it more desirable. This is an example of scarcity. It is the fear of missing out on something. It pulls on our psychological fear of loss to get us to take action. Humans are far more motivated to take action to hoard a scarce resource than they are to act on something that could help them. Fear of loss is stronger than desire for gain. We will wield this psychological lever to get your clients to buy in a frenzy, all at once until you are sold out. 3 types of scarcity. Limited supply of seats/slots in general or over X period of time. Limited supply of bonuses, never available again. But how do you use this properly without being phony? I'll try and give you some real world examples. Physical products. Having limited releases is a tried and true method of using this psychological bias to your advantage. You can have limited releases for flavours, colours, designs, sizes, etc. This month we are releasing 100 boxes of mint chocolate cookies flavoured protein bars. Important point. To properly utilise this method, you should always sell out. Here's why. It's better to sell out consistently than over-order and fail at creating that scarcity. This method stacks in effectiveness. If it is done repeatedly over time, just not too often, once a month seems to be the sweet spot for most of the companies that I know who do this with regularity. So in my last video, if you haven't watched that, I kind of touched on this. How this links is, with this, if you don't sell out, then you haven't left people with unsatisfied desire, if you know what I mean. So if you sell out and there's loads of people that wanted that, they're going to want to pay, or they will pay, and buy earlier the next time. And if you sell out again and people miss out, it's just a constant cycle where people are missing out and they still have pent-up desire, as they call it, to buy next time. Second important note, when using this tactic, you must also let everyone know that you sold out. This is part of what makes it work so well. This way, even people who were on the fence, when they see that it was sold out, it gives social proof that other people thought it was worth it. And now that the choice has been made for them, they desire it more because there is no way they can get it. So the next time you make the offer, they will be far more likely to take you up on it. So, just ended up saying what I said, but they did say it in my last video too. Fun fact, Chanel, a brand that has maintained insane margins and pricing for over a century, is a master of scarcity. They send only 1 to 2 of each piece to each store, so every store has a different selection and every item is the last or second to last item in stock. This allows them to price far above market and turn buying impulses into purchases. Services. With services, especially if you want to consistently get customers, it can be a little trickier to use scarcity, but I will show you a few simple ways to employ scarcity ethically to increase your take rates on offers. These all have similar elements with very slight tweaks. I'm enumerating these because one of these might mentally fit in your business model more than others. 1. Total business cap. Only accepting clients, only accepting X clients at this level of service. Ongoing. This puts a cap on how many clients you service but also keeps them in it. You create a waiting list for a few prospects. The moment the door opens, they jump right in and price resistance disappears. Periodically you can increase capacity by 10 to 20%, then cap it again. This works well for your highest tiers or service levels. A. This is like saying my agency only will service 25 customers total. Period. Over time you can increase your prices and squeeze the lower performing accounts out and bring in new more profitable accounts, or you can periodically open slots as your capacity allows, always leaving some demand unmet. Growth rate cap. Only accepting X clients per week, ongoing. We only accept 5 new clients per week, and we already have the first 3 spots taken. I have 6 more calls this week, so you can take the spot or one of my next calls, and you can wait until we reopen. I've used this method since the beginning of my business. I always knew what my capacity was per week and simply chose to let our prospects know how many openings we had left. This banks on the fact that you can only handle a certain amount of new clients anyways on a regular basis, so you might as well let them know it. Cohort cap. Only accepting X clients per class or cohort. Similar to the above, except done on whatever cadence you desire. Only accepting X amount per class or cohort over a given period is another way of thinking about it. Imagine you only start clients monthly or quarterly. This helps you get some cadences in place in your business operationally, while also allowing your sales team some legitimate scarcity. Example, we take on 100 clients 4 times a year. We open the doors, then close them, etc. Pro tip. Provide limited access for higher ticket services. These scarcity tactics work especially well for higher ticket upsells. If you want to create one-off workshops, trainings, events, seminars, consulting, etc., these are things that by their nature take time and provide more access. Pairing them with clear scarcity or fixed amount seats or spots will rapidly drive up the demand, but always remember to have less spots available than you think you can sell, so that when you want to do it again in the future, everyone will remember you sold out fast. This is a compounding strategy that increases in effectiveness over time, one of the few in the marketing arsenal. Let me give you a real example of scarcity to enhance the value of a free lead magnet. If I were to tell you right now that I have a checklist that you can download for free that has all these materials for you in this book in bulleted format, you might be inclined to put this book down and go there to download it now. But if I told you I have it set so that every week the page only allows 20 new people to download it, you'd be far more likely to go see if you can grab it, and even more so if when you try it, you see that it has already run out for the week. Result? You join a list that notifies you the next time 20 more checklists becomes available for download. What happens next? When you get that notification, you'll hit the link on your phone and go to the page because you don't want to miss out again. By employing scarcity, we make what would otherwise be a neat free download into a desirable thing not everyone has access to. You also, by extension, would be far more likely to consume it when you do get your hands on it, all because of how we control supply. Cool, right? Now, honest scarcity, the most ethical scarcity. The easiest scarcity strategy is honesty. Wait, what? Let me explain. I'm sure right now you probably couldn't handle 1,000 clients tomorrow, right? But how many could you handle? 5, 10, 25? Well, you might as well define a number that you are willing to take on in a given time period, then advertise that. Simply letting people know that you are 3/4 of the way to capacity this week will move people over the edge to buying from you, or letting people know that you are 81% capacity in your total business will make people far more likely to sign up with you before they lose the chance. Scarcity also implies within it social proof. If you're 81% capacity, then a decent amount of people made the decision to work with you, and the closer you get to your arbitrary fullness, the faster the spots will disappear, but only you get to draw where that line is. Full. Neat, right? Summary points. Employ one or multiple methods of scarcity in your business. You will drive a faster purchasing decision from your prospects and at higher prices. Just let them know your limits and let psychology do the rest. Now that we've covered some of my favourite scarcity tactics that you can use year round, what else could you do to increase demand without changing anything about your offer? Increase urgency. We will cover that next, so subscribe for that because that'll be the next video on urgency. Pro tip, extreme scarcity. If you don't hate money, sell a very limited supply of one-on-one access. You can do that via any of the mediums described in Delivery Cube. So that was in another video as well. So that was in 4.2, the whole Delivery Cube thing. Direct message access, email access, phone access, voice memo access, Zoom access, etc. There are lots of ways you can do this, but I promise you this, if you want to immediately make a lot of money, create a very exclusive service, level based on access to you. Yes, unscalable. That you cap at a tiny number. Price it very high. Then tell people you will make more money than you thought possible. These also tend to be some of the best clients. And limit your delivery to something that you don't hate. For me, I hate email and messages, but don't mind Zoom calls. Make it work for your working style. The cream of the crop. The 1% of 1% will adjust and take action. Another pro tip. Once you're out, you can never come back. You can create scarcity by also capping your service level and saying that if they leave, they can never return. This type of scarcity makes people think extra hard about leaving. I started doing this with my gyms early on. Then I was in a mastermind that employed this. Then I started using it in my higher level of gym lords. This works best with small groups, like the above example. As groups become much bigger, the tactic loses some teeth, speaking from experience. So again, if you haven't watched any of the other parts, then they are my last few videos on my channel, so you should go and watch them now. Otherwise, if the next part of the $100 million offers information is out, then that will be on screen. But if that's not out, then you're obviously interested in becoming successful, so you should watch this video on screen now, A Guide to Success from the Wisdom of Naval Ravikant.